guys, if you're new here, my name is Sam and I make videos about makeup, chronic illness, whatever I want. And there's a cat here. It randomly got hot again, so sweaty Betty today. Just a heads up. This is going to be a bit of a health update, a sort of channel update, a temporary channel update, and I'm going to play around with some makeup. I have like a couple new things I'm going to play with. I did most of my base. Under my eyes is orange because it's color corrected, but I always take longer to do my makeup than I have things to talk about, so I wanted to get a lot of that done first. I'm going to start with my eyes because if there's any fallout, I want to be able to clean it up and not mess anything else up. To start, I don't exactly remember where my last health update left us. I know I had mentioned having a lot of appointments, at least oh boy, I just missed the tube and we're off to a hot start here today. So I had a ton of appointments. I know I mentioned the neurologist and some other stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and waste time trying to recall exactly what I did, so I'm just gonna talk about I guess what has happened in September, or the last couple of weeks. Let's just go with the last couple of weeks. So starting with the dry eye, I saw the ophthalmologist and that both went good and bad. So I'm using the At Foresight, the ColourPop Raw Beauty Crispy palette today. The appointment with the ophthalmologist itself wasn't bad. So I go there for regular screening for glaucoma because I have some thickening of the nerves of my eyes, and it's unclear if it is genetic and I have always had that issue or if it's the start of glaucoma. Either way, it is being monitored in case it changes, it is caught early. So I was there for that, and I had mentioned Sjogren's in the past, the dryness, and I was there to also address the dry eye and how bad it had been. So all that went well. There was no changes in the thickening of my nerves, which was good news. The dry eye was quite severe from what she could see. I'm at risk for tearing and such, so I chose, rather than the little plugs in the tear ducts, to start with the immune suppressing eye drops, and so far those have been working well. Normally I'm looking for a product. There's not a super light shade in here, so I'm going to go in with a translucent powder to just really disperse this more. Usually it takes many months to notice any difference with these eye drops, but she said if you pair them with steroid eye drops in the beginning, it kind of jump starts them and cuts the time in half. And I've only been on them for about a month. I think tomorrow will be a month, actually. And I am noticing a slight improvement. It isn't anything wild, but it could still take 2 more months for me to notice the full effects. But so far, so good. I'm happy with that. The issue with that appointment was I thought I would just get my eye exam done there too. You know, the 1-2 prescription part. That's called a refraction if you aren't familiar. And I'm I'll already be here. Why not? Well, I guess in most instances, ophthalmologists don't really care about that part. It isn't their priority. I have a hair on my face. The ophthalmologist didn't even do the exam. The technician did the exam, and the ophthalmologist didn't even check it. And according to my optometrist, that's usually how it's done there. It's incredibly common, and the prescriptions are usually wrong. Well, mine was very wrong. Didn't know that going in. Today I had a second opinion appointment with my regular optometrist because I ordered my glasses with this new prescription, and I couldn't see. It was so blurry. It was making me dizzy and giving me a migraine attack, and it was just all sorts of problems. The prescription was so bad. It was giving me awful headaches and stuff, and so I decided I didn't like how they went about the eye exam at the ophthalmologist, so I didn't really want them to do my second opinion, and now in hindsight I'm glad they didn't, knowing that like the doctor isn't even the one that performs it, and so it would probably not be accurate, etc., etc. So I just had it done somewhere else, got the correct prescription, had to go to Warby Parker to return these glasses and get them ordered with the correct prescription, and it was like a whole headache. Hopefully in the next week I have my new glasses with the correct prescription and all of that. I really like my optometrist, like the whole thing went really well, and so I'm very happy with how all of that turned out. I go back the end of October, I almost said August, just for a surface update, a surface of my eye update, so she can see if any progress is being made with the Restasis. Obviously I can feel it and vouch for that, but they want to see if any of the dryness has improved. So there's that, but I'm glad all that's done and I can just move forward and just not mess with an eye exam there in the future. On to what's the next part. I don't have any update on the migraine front just because I don't see that doctor for another 2.5 weeks, more or less. So, no update there. I did have my monthly call with my respiratory therapist. So I use something through my asthma doctor called Aluna, and it's an at-home test. There's a specific name for this test that I am just drawing a blank on. So it's just this little, like, almost Bluetooth machine, and I test my lungs twice a day with it. And it's sent to my doctor, but I also have my own little respiratory therapist who monitors it. Little respiratory therapist, like they're not full adult human beings. They monitor it remotely, and once a month I have a phone call with my respiratory therapist. We go over my numbers. They tell me what they're seeing through my tests that I can't see. Like, I just get a number. I don't see any of the details, but they see, like, very in-depth details. Well, I was having issues with my machine just, like, not really working, and I was like, well, I have the call with her next week, so I'm not gonna, like, reach out, whatever. Well, every fall I tend to get an issue where I end up with bronchitis or close to bronchitis, and it's starting early this year because the weather change happened a little earlier. So now I have to monitor that. I've been doing my inhaler more frequently, and she said if I'm not getting better numbers or I'm still having issues with the machine by Monday, today is Thursday, that I need to, like, go into my asthma doctor and talk about, like, getting put on steroids or something because I could have bronchitis. So that's a fun development. Now let's get into the slightly larger developments that are going to lead into, like, a channel update scenario. I went to my ENT, like, my ENT ordered blood work at our last visit, and it was semi-inconclusive. We'll circle back around to what was found. But in regards to Sjogren's, my blood work did not show anything, which is not uncommon. It happens fairly often with this disease from what I have gathered. We talked about it, and based on my symptoms and, like, where I'm at, he said if he were me, he would move forward with a lip biopsy. So that's where we're going with that. And my lip biopsy is next Wednesday. He is a little less, the whole process is a bit, like, gruesome. So he is less gruesome and does not use the hole punch method, and I'm not going to go into much detail about that, but you can just kind of use your imagination there. So it will not be as gruesome of a procedure, but it is still essentially a mouth surgery. A small surgery, but a mouth surgery. It'll take about an hour to do. He'll make an incision and remove, he said, 10 salivary glands and send them out for testing. This is where the channel update comes in, is because if you're new here, I love Halloween. If you're not new here, you're familiar with the fact that I go pretty all out with my Halloween content, especially like my costumes. I love it. I love to do the special effects. I love to do all that sorts of stuff. All that sort of stuff. This is where the dilemma comes in, is my procedure is on the September 27th. That means October is next weekend. Well, even though it is less barbaric how he will do it with an incision rather than the other method, it will still result in swelling and bruising of the face that can last up to a month. The bruising will last longer than the swelling, but it's still a recovery period because it's right here on the front of my face, and it is fairly invasive. There's not really going to be Halloween content. I did not see this coming, but I guess I should have. My health has been like kind of the forefront of most of my recent videos of like the testing and all of these things I'm doing and that. So I should have seen a little sooner that like I wasn't going to be able to do the content. Now, I wasn't sure how quick they would get me in for the biopsy. I thought, oh, maybe it'll be mid-October and then I can like pre-film some content, but that is not the case, and that's okay. I hadn't done as much planning for Halloween content as I normally do just because the last 2 months have been utterly swamped with appointments, and I haven't had a lot of time to plan like that big stuff, because when it comes to those videos, very Aries, very ADHD about it, and I don't trial run things before I do it. Like when I do that special effects makeup, it is the first time I'm doing it. I think the only exception was Freddy Krueger. But then when I realized, like, oh, I'm just pretty good at this in general, I just film it. And if it doesn't work out the first time, then I refilm it. But it almost always works out the first time because it's something I take my time doing and I just fine tune as I go. I've done a lot of research and I just know what I'm doing. But I still have to come up with the idea, and make sure I have all the supplies. I usually have all the supplies, but sometimes I need a little outfit or, something of the sort. And I just haven't had time to do that. And that should have been my first flag that this wasn't going to get done. Again, I'm no stranger to working last minute, right? Like, I am kind of the queen of procrastination in a lot of sense. So I guess that shouldn't have been weird to me, is like, oh, you could just like wait until the last minute to film this stuff. It's fine. You do it all the time. But now that I'm literally going to have a bruise on my face, a swollen lip, I don't know to what degree, right? Everybody is different. But I'm going to be out of commission most of October. So the Halloween content is going to be limited to a single makeup look. The one idea I came up with, and it was prepared for about a month and a half ago. So that will come around Halloween. I don't know if it'll be on Halloween. I don't know what day it falls on. But I have a costume plan, but that's all there's going to be. Which is weird because I've even named my Halloween series. So it is kind of strange to not be doing anything, but it is what it is. Hopefully next year we're back to regularly scheduled content. And there will be some content in October. I'm not just going to totally disappear. I'm spending this weekend and the beginning of next week pre-filming some stuff. So there are going to be videos in October. I will absolutely be taking next week off because I won't have time to edit, like film and edit a video before Wednesday because I'm filming multiple other videos. So you will not see like an updated me for a few weeks. I will likely vlog because I haven't vlogged in a little while. I don't know, maybe somebody else will have this procedure and just be kind of curious, or maybe you just have some morbid curiosity about what my healing is going to look like. But I will film some of that, and I will probably make it almost like a vlogoween thing where I kind of just film all of October, movies I'm watching, things like that. So it'll just be different. I am, however, planning on Vlogmas to some degree. I'm not a person who can like upload every day. Like, that's not something my body would agree to in any capacity. That's not gonna happen, but I would like to maybe do like 2 or 3 days a week. Like, Vlogmas just seems really fun. So I'm almost just kind of like switching this year. Next year, if I enjoy Vlogmas, I will do both. But right now, these procedures just aren't like working out for me. So I will be missing for a little while, and then it'll depend on really how I feel when the next video will go up, because if I am just too sore and too miserable, I just need to rest. And I know all of you understand that, so I'm not looking for permission or anything. It's just kind of explaining where I will be and what will be happening. I am excited to say that it looks like I'm going to hit my goal for the year of reaching 500 subscribers, which is really, really cool. And I thank you guys very much for being here and enjoying all of the things that I post and have to say. So there's going to be almost a reintroduction kind of video for that, because there are people who don't want to go watch a video that's like almost 3 years old, and I do not blame you. Also, it'd be fun to just have some new like facts about me and whatnot. Circling back to the blood work was kind of inconclusive. It showed that it wasn't, the Sjogren's didn't show up. So it's not that it's not Sjogren's, it just didn't show up in the blood work. But my blood work did show some like weird stuff. So I have like thick blood, my white cells are high, my red cells are high. So he referred me to a hematologist / oncologist to deal with that, because, well, cancer is a scary word. It could potentially be a blood cancer. We don't know. It could be nothing as well. So that just needs to be checked out. But where I kind of like went off on a little rant and didn't talk about it is I have at least 7 appointments in October. Like, I'm booked. So I also just don't have a ton of time to do the filming and all the stuff I did last year. It just seems like a good time to take a little break, especially because I'm not taking any holiday time off this year. Like I said, I want to do Vlogmas. So last year I took some time off around, I think, like Thanksgiving. Maybe it was like all of December I might have taken off, or all of November, something like that. I am not doing that this year, so seems like my vacation is definitely October. There will definitely be stuff to vlog as I'm like going amount around those appointments, getting those taken care of, and then rather than make a video like this, my battery's dying now. I have lots to do. Have a sore, swollen, bruised face. It just seems like a good time for like a little vacation, you know? So I'll have some pre-filmed videos, just to reiterate, but I'm not exactly sure when the first one will go up, just because I don't know how I'll feel to edit, which is okay. Is that it? Look, I might already have run out of stuff to talk about. Alright, I have like one thing and it isn't even that much. I guess we're almost done. I'm going to move on to doing the rest of my face. So we have bronzer, setting powders, blushes, highlight, and I'm going to use all of that. So I'm high risk and I'm not doing any sort of concerts. Also, I wouldn't have had anyone to go with, but I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I was not able to go to the Eras tour. When I saw the movie was announced, I thought I would also miss out on that just because it's going to be way too crowded. Like, I mean, the tickets sold out so fast. Well, it seems to be running every weekend of October, and it's expanded theaters. It's not just AMC now, which is pretty cool, or like Regal or whatever. It's expanded to some other movie theaters. And so the one local to me had a showing all the way the last weekend of October, and I'm like, I think most people will have, I was making sure this was recording, I think most people will have already gone to see it at that point. So if I pick like the last showing, it's like noon on a Friday on October 27th, like hopefully won't be crowded and I can go and enjoy it and like get the experience of the tour like on a big screen, which is really exciting. And I did. I snagged my ticket. I made sure I have a really good mask before people start buying them up again. I'm looking forward to that, and it's the same day that 1989, which is basically my favorite album. I mean, there's a little competition, but pretty much my favorite album. Same day that comes out, so it's a big Taylor Swift day for me, and I'm pretty darn excited. As expected, I am not done with my makeup and I have run out of things to tell you. Okay, I'm just gonna like finish this up and come back. I don't need to edit all this out. Okay, I'm back. And my lipstick is uneven and a mess, but this is my first time using this formula and it's much thinner than I'm used to. This is the Black Moon Cosmetics shade Hazel, and I love it. I actually prefer that it's thin, but I picked up too much and it kind of just went all over. But that's okay because you're only going to see me for like a minute. This is very comfortable because it is so thin, but it's very, like, this is just one coat. It is taking a little longer to dry than the other stuff I used. I'm very happy with the new products I used, the lipstick being one of the new products. I very, very much like this color. I think that's it. That is my update. This is my makeup. We will just kind of keep in contact. Like, follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. I update there a lot. I will keep little updates in the communities tab, so, you know, I haven't totally disappeared, but that's pretty much the game plan. That's going to be the little change that's happening for a few weeks, and that is why there is no Sammoween in 2023. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And please let me know in the comments, what are you doing in October? Are there movies that I should be watching while I'm recovering over the next few weeks? Please share your thoughts, feelings, and plans with me. Also, are you going to see the Eras movie? Alright guys, I will see you guys next time.